Round of 16, game number 1, Newcastle and Alexandria. Ben Davis and Shelbyville in game number 2. Hi, everybody. I'm Jim Barber along with George McGinnis. I don't know if we can top what we saw here last week, but we're going to try. We've got a really competitive semi-state field. Of course, Ben Davis in Washington, Ben Davis in Cathedral. People are still buzzing about that last week.
Well, probably the best regional I have ever witnessed. It will be hard to duplicate that, but both teams in this first game brought a strong contingent. Should be very interesting matchup, Jim.
And I think Mackin's going to be pretty loud because a lot of these fans arrived here this morning at 9:30. Let's take you through the tournament trail and show you what these teams have done in the sectional and regional. And so far, for Newcastle, they had to defeat 3 teams pretty handily. It got a little tighter in the regional, but they haven't had a single-digit game so far, man.
No, they really have not been tested, but they will this afternoon.
As for Alexandria, first time around in 75 years, they come through that brutal Anderson sectional. And to beat the best, well, that's what they did to get here. Then Muncie South by a point and Jake County by 19. They're very fired up in this community. Everybody's here from Alexandria and then some.
They sure are. And as you said, coming out of the Anderson sectional, awful tough, and they did it, and they're going to be a force here this afternoon.
All right, let's show you some of the key players in today's game. We can think of a couple in this one, beginning with the big man, Chris Hahn, who averages over 20 a game.
Well, he's a big 6'7" junior. Outstanding. Many consider him the best big man in the state. Long arms. He averages about 21 points a game. He will have to be defended by the Newcastle Giants this afternoon.
And for Newcastle, we speak of Kyle Huckabee. If it seems like he's been playing in Newcastle for 10 years, well, it's almost true. He's been a 3-year starter and a good one.
Well, he really is. He's an outstanding player. As you can see, the percentages there, 60% from the field. He averages a little over just around 21 points a game. He'll have to be on top of his game this afternoon to be able to get it done for Newcastle.
Mac and I love to break down the game, so let's take the keys to the game and start with the Trojans, what they need to do to win.
Well, Newcastle definitely will have to defend inside, especially against Chris Hahn. They'll also have to contain Mickey Hosier, their little point guard who loves to penetrate. For Alexandria, they're going to really have to avoid foul trouble and neutralize the scoring of Huckabee.
Newcastle, a very good free throw shooting team. When Mac and I come back, starting lineups in the opening tip, game number 1, Alexandria and Newcastle.
If you're going to be the best, you've got to be committed to excellence.
And at Marsh, we've been making that commitment for over 60 years.
You got to work hard on all the fundamentals because that's what's going to make you better.
And we're working to give you the highest quality and the best service at great values.
And when we've got the right players in the right positions, it means only one thing.
A winning tradition.
Marsh, an Indiana tradition.
Marsh will bring a smile to anyone's face, even mine.
3.9, 3.9, 3.9, 3.9 on Ford Probe.
That's right. For just 17 days, you can get low 3.9 financing on any sleek new Ford Probe. Every Probe comes with standard dual airbags, power steering, power brakes, AM/FM stereo, and more. But you better hurry because this low 3.9 financing on any Ford Probe ends soon.
Your Indiana Ford dealer's the one, the one, the one, the one, the one.
Both teams have veteran lineups. Newcastle and Alexandria have 3 seniors. Keep a matchup in mind in the middle with Hahn and Barry and Stewart and Huckabee. Again, Huckabee a fine scorer for Newcastle. Jim Barber with George McGinnis. We are ready to tip it off, so sit back and enjoy the Hinkle Semi-State. We're in the Sweet 16. The 2 winners this afternoon will play for the championship, and then we get right to the RCA Dome next Saturday. Mark Hay and Bill Nimnick will call the game. Bill's been here the last 3 years, and he has seen some very competitive Hinkle semi-states. We'll see if we've got one in store right now. And the Tigers get a chance to score first. Hosier's 24, and he's the man to keep your eyes on because he can move the basketball. He'll be teamed up today with Brad Howell, the other senior guard.
Well, as we see Newcastle open in a man-to-man defense, Jim, we talked to Sam Alford a little bit, and he talked about defensively, he's going to give this Alexandria team a lot of different looks, opens in a man-to-man.
Neither team particularly big, and neither team has the inside force, as you'll see in game number 2, but both play pretty smart basketball game and can get to the line.
Nice look by the big fella.
We talk about him penetrating, but he did a nice job cutting and getting open.
Mickey Hosier, really the heart and soul of this ball club, and really a tough, tenacious little guy. Excellent move inside.
24 is Scott Miller, and Miller has seen a lot of action here in semi-state play. This is his 3rd year as a starter for the Trojans. Nice save, and the layup is good, and it's 4-0 Alexandria. There's Chris Hahn with a basket. But from the corner, a 3 from Chad Tabor. It's a 4-3 game.
Looks like this game, both teams are pretty evenly matched here. This should be a terrific matchup.
Sam Alford of Newcastle gunning for his 300th career win at Newcastle. We have an offensive foul on Alexandria.
Well, that time they got big Chris Hahn coming across the middle, and he was not stationary for a pick, and they got him for a moving pick. Alexandria has a lot of activity off the ball. That time they got caught moving there with the foul on Hahn.
Sam Alford has quite a dilemma this week. His son Steve coaching Manchester in the Division III National Championship game tonight. They won last night and will face Wisconsin Platteville this evening. His lovely wife Sharon will be in attendance in Buffalo, but Sam had other business, man.
Well, you bet, but man, what a job Steve has done there in Manchester, and the Alford family, that tradition just continues.
The left corner jumper no good, and taken down by Chris Hahn. It is Shelbyville leading in this game 4-3. And back come the Trojans. Nice little set shot and a decent look right there for Huckabee, but he missed it.
Both teams are getting excellent opportunities to score from the perimeter, but they have not been able to get them down. I think both teams probably, obviously, a little tight right now. But they're going to have to knock down open opportunities.
Look at Shelbyville sag in the middle, and the ball stolen away. Here's the little playmaker, Hosier. Rebound basket by Jeff Urban, and it's 6-3. Urban is going to Ball State on a baseball scholarship. In fact, he was an early signee.
Well, one of the things Sam Alford talked about when we came over and talked to the coaches was that he's really going to have to defend the inside. We've seen Alexandria come with a couple second and third opportunities. That time we see Newcastle attacking the offensive glass.
Each team with rebound baskets in this game, and Shelbyville owns the 1-point lead and the ball. And that's off the fingertips of Hahn, out of bounds to Newcastle. Second Shelbyville turnover.
Well, there's a lot of people who touted Chris Hahn as the best big man in the state. I know that there's a few kids over at Ben Davis might have something to say about that, but he's an outstanding player. He looks like he's very fundamentally sound.
So Newcastle with its first lead of the game, 7-6. And if I referred to Shelbyville a couple of times already, take a look ahead to game 2. We have Alexandria and Newcastle here in game number 1. That is a three-pointer from Jeff Urban of the Tigers. Nine to 7, 4:13 remaining here in the first quarter. Things are starting to pick up a little bit. The shooting's starting to get a little better.
They're heating up for sure. You know, what's really nice to see here is that both of these teams have a terrific following now. We see the green of Newcastle and the great contingent they brought, and also this Alexandria team look like they brought the whole town. What a great atmosphere this is.
And to follow up that point, they say the bakery is closed today in Alexandria, and it never closes. So you can see that Hoosier hysteria has hit all parts of that town. In fact, Coach Garth Cohn was telling me over the phone a couple of days ago that because it is a small town, it's a very close-knit town.
Right.
And even in times of difficulty, such as the floods a few years ago, people that don't even know each other get together and help out, and this is how this closeness comes about. And basketball on the recreation end doesn't hurt either.
Boy, Mickey Hosier is a tough kid. Now, that time, he doesn't mind getting his nose dirty. If he played football, he'd definitely be a fullback.
Pretty strong grade point average for Mickey Hosier, 3.89 GPA. You ask Garth Cohn what he doesn't like about his point guard, and he says nothing. Good open lane, and Tabor saw it, took it, hit it.
Well, them kind of shots are just too easy. I think Alexandria is going to have to do a better job of getting to the open man. Newcastle now has had a lot of open opportunities. They have not shot the ball particularly well, but when they do start picking it up on the percentage, it could spell some trouble for Alexandria.
Gotta love the hustle of Brady Armstrong, who went sliding right into the boards here. Like a good little hockey player.
Boy, look at that hustle. That'll make the highlight film.
Be careful. Double screen out high. And as a result, Brad Howell nails the three, and Alexandria has a three-point lead. Well, they set that double high pick out there, and Howell's able to find it and bury it.
Yeah, excellent little play. Come off a double. Got cleanly open. Was able to knock down a nice three-point shot.
And a 5-second violation on Newcastle. So the Tigers, with the three-point lead, will have the basketball. Ryan Latham now in the game for the Trojans, 6'6" junior. 3 minutes to go in the first quarter, 12-9 in favor of Alexandria. Old-fashioned set shot taken there, and the Trojans somehow keep the basketball. Nice job by Chad Tabor. First of a doubleheader here for Mako. Jim Barber and George McGinnis. We're pleased to have you wherever you're watching this afternoon and this morning.
Alexandria strictly has played a zone here in the first quarter, and off of that, Newcastle has gotten plenty open shots but have not been able to capitalize on them.
When you play that zone, you've got to keep your eye out for the shooter or shooters, because that can open up the zone and make you change defense.
Absolutely. I think Newcastle's doing a good job of attacking it, but they just haven't gotten good results yet because of the shooting percentage.
Foul coming up on the Tigers, their third team foul in this game. Newcastle has yet to commit a foul.
Boy, that's a big foul there. Chris Hahn, his second.
So Alexandria will have to deal with that. We have a timeout. 2:11 left in the first quarter. Alexandria up by 3.
More horsepower than Thunderbird. $1,000 less than Taurus, popularly equipped. Dual airbags and theft deterrent system, standard. Pontiac Grand Prix. It blows the doors off everything else in its class.
Get a Grand Prix for just $248 a month with $1,500 down. See your Central Indiana Pontiac Pack dealer today.
Noble Romans introduces new 101 pepperoni pizza. A large hand-tossed pizza smothered with 101 real pepperoni.
Wow!
Ask for it by name, only at Noble Romans. Now, when you order Noble Romans delivery, within 25 minutes, we'll call you back and let you know your pizza's on the way, or it's free. Guaranteed.
Wow!
Only from Noble Romans. Noble Romans introduces new 101 pepperoni pizza. A large hand-tossed pizza smothered with 101 real pepperoni.
Wow!
Ask for it by name, only at Noble Romans.
Moments ago, Chris Hahn picked up his second personal foul. He remains in the game for Alexandria, but he's got to be careful as Newcastle has evened it up at 12. Wow. Well, I think these teams are getting over their nervousness, man.
Well, you know, this Urban, he has got a nice-looking stroke. He plays from the left side. He's knocked down 2 trays now. Newcastle's really going to have to be careful and go out and get him.
Jeff Urban has 8 of Alexandria's 15 points. Nice drive to the middle, and a shot put up and in by Rodney Berry. 15-14, and Hahn still very aggressive despite the 2 fouls.
Really is. I'm surprised that he's still into the ball game with a minute and a half left in this first quarter. 2 fouls. That time a nice pass. Good extension of the arm. Was able to get that down and in.
There's Mickey Hosier. He's everywhere for Alexandria, and he'll bring it up. Well, I like the way he handles the ball.
Yeah, he's a tough, gritty kid. We've heard a lot of good things about Mickey Hosier.
Layup missed and taken down by the Trojans. Under a minute left in the first quarter, 17-14 in favor of the Tigers. And a walking violation on Newcastle, so back to Alexandria we go. And another substitution. This time Josh Estelle comes in the game. Sam Alford's been here before. Somebody teased him about this being old home week here at Hinkle Semi-State, but it's very tough to get back here, and Alford appreciates that as well as anybody.
Well, he's just outstanding coach, terrific person. Has been to this regional 6 times in the last 13 years. Has won a sectional 12 of the last 13 years. This guy's just, he's got the total package. He's not only an outstanding coach, but he's a heck of a guy.
That's the time remaining here in the first quarter. It's a 3-point game in favor of the Tigers. Right now, Newcastle will hold for the last shot. Rebound to Hahn. They've got 5 seconds to work with. At the end of the first quarter, things have picked up a bit, and Alexandria has a 17-14 lead. We'll be back to Hinkle after these commercial words.
Teamwork means working together toward one common goal.
At Marsh, we're working together every day to make sure you're completely satisfied.
It's all the little things, the extra effort that truly defines a winner.
We go the extra mile so many ways, and it doesn't cost you any extra.
And when you do it year after year, you've got what everyone wants.
A winning tradition.
Marsh, an Indiana tradition since 1931.
At Marsh, they're serious about making you smile.
And that's our guarantee.
You've got 72 hours to put $29 down. It's the Palmer Dodge 72-hour new and used car disposal to celebrate the grand opening of Palmer Dodge North. Both Palmer locations have every new and used car $29 down. Many $29 down, $99 a month. Dozens more, $29 down, $149 a month. All credit applications accepted. Get to Palmer Dodge West or Palmer Dodge North before 8 p.m. Saturday.
Sam Alford of Newcastle's concern about defending Chris Hahn, well documented. Hahn has 4 points in the game, and keep in mind, number 50 also has 2 fouls. We begin the second quarter with the Tigers up by 3 and with the ball. And a turnover, and back the other way we go. Each team now with 3 turnovers. In the first quarter, the shooting kind of picked up after a slow start, George.
Sure did. Both teams started off particularly slow, which is understandable. Big game. These guys are probably a little nervous. But it picked up there the latter part of the first quarter there.
Can you tell in the early stages of a game if the shots are short like they were, that this is a part of being uptight?
Oh, I think so. You know, especially for Alexandria. Newcastle, of course, has been here before. They were here last year. This is the first time, of course, coming out of that Anderson sectional. That's a war, and they've done a good job, but both teams were a little tight.
Newcastle looking inside, missing the shot. I like the idea of them going after Chris Hahn.
Yeah, that's really good strategy. And I think Alexandria needs to do more of going to Chris Hahn on the offensive end. They went to him occasionally, but they need to do more of it.
Little inside-outside action there for the Tigers. And now Hahn sets a pick. And now Newcastle with a steal and with the push. And Mickey Hosier said it couldn't have been me, but I think it was. He is just a junior.
He's tough.
led the state in assists.
Well, we'll take another look at it as we see good defense there by Newcastle. He gets it up, and it looks like there's a good number situation here, but look at Hosier go after the ball, and it looks like he clearly got him across the arm, so it was a good call there by the official.
Mickey is 5'10", 145 pounds.
Soaking wet.
Yeah. I think you're right. Plays hard. Trojans penetrating with a rebound to Hahn. Still very active despite those fouls. You have to admire that.
Oh, nice little back door. Back pick there. Excellent recognition. Great pass. Good finish.
From Glenn Stewart to Chris Hahn, and the Tigers open up a 5-point lead. Well, they don't play like a team that's never been here.
No, they sure don't.
And Rodney Berry drains the jumper from the outside. Sam says he's more of a one-on-one oriented player and took his man right there off the dribble.
You know, it seems like both of these teams are playing off each other. When one scores, the other one seems to respond. Now both teams are starting to heat up a little bit.
Yes, it's one of those, whatever you can do, Mac, I can do better.
That's right.
Alexandria leading by 5 with under 6 minutes left in the first half. And Newcastle turns the ball over for the 4th time. Brady Armstrong re-enters the game. We have a timeout. Under 6 minutes left in the first half, and right now Alexandria leading by 5, 21-16. We'll be back to Hinkle.
If you like gold, you're gonna love Oldsmobile's sporty, fun-to-drive Achievo Gold Edition, equipped with 150 horsepower, quad-4 performance, sporty exterior with rear aero wing, plus airbag, anti-lock brakes, air, tilt wheel, power locks, and gold trim, starting at $13,995. Achievo Gold Edition. Achievo Gold. For a limited time at your Hoosier Olds family retailers.
Noble Romans introduces new 101 pepperoni pizza. A large hand-tossed pizza smothered with 101 real pepperoni.
Wow!
Ask for it by name, only at Noble Romans. Now, when you order Noble Romans delivery, within 25 minutes, we'll call you back and let you know your pizza's on the way, or it's free. Guaranteed.
Wow!
Only from Noble Romans. Noble Romans introduces new 101 pepperoni pizza. A large hand-tossed pizza smothered with 101 real pepperoni.
Wow!
Ask for it by name, only at Noble Romans.
Coming into today's game, free throw edge to Newcastle. The threes advantage Alexandria, and the rebounding to Newcastle, particularly on the offensive boards. Shooting in this game favors the Tigers, shooting a pretty good 50% so far. And this may be a bit of a surprise. Alexandria doing a nice job on the board. Newcastle is the stronger rebounding team by nature.
Yeah, they consistently have out-rebounded their opponents throughout the year, and today they're not doing a good job on the offensive end, at least in the rebounding department, excuse me.
Sam Alford focusing on the situation. Finds his Trojans down by 5. And now 7.
Well, that's just too easy. Newcastle's really going to have to do a better job on the defensive end, especially with the weak side help.
Quick shot put up by the Trojans. Missed. The follow-up missed as well, but a tip in is good.
That was a great tip. The ball clearly behind him. I couldn't see who got that, Jim, but...
And a foul coming up on Alexandria. And if that's on Chris Hahn, it's number 3. And it is. So Chris Hahn, the 6'7", 220-pound junior, is going to have to come out now.
That's a big call. Now, if we can take another look at the play, the mistake was made by, he shot the ball a little strong. He should have made the first opportunity, and he wouldn't have had to come back over the top. As we can see, Hosier, look at the nice look, finding Hahn clearly underneath, wide open. He just couldn't get it down, and comes over the top. Frustration foul. As a result, he's 3 fouls and out of the first half now.
So Chris Hahn, who has 8 points in this game, now 3 personal fouls. And he will have to sit maybe all the first half.
Well, Newcastle just not having a whole lot of success with the shooting percentage.
Tigers back the other way. That one's swatted out of bounds, but we got a foul coming up, I think. Nope, just out of bounds. Another look at a pretty good defensive play. A little help from the weak side there.
Don't bring that weak stuff in here.
That's right. That blocked by Chad Tabor. (23-18) Alexandria, and they'll work without their big guy, Chris Hahn.
Well, they get good movement off the ball. Look at the activity there.
And a foul coming up on the Trojans, just their second team foul. It's interesting, when Newcastle had their last possession, it took a pretty quick shot from the outside. I would think if Hahn is gone, you got to work more for the inside.
You really need to look on the inside and take advantage of the fact that Chris Hahn is no longer into the ballgame. Now, I saw Sam get up and he screamed a little bit at a couple of players, and I think that you're going to see Newcastle do a better job of taking the ball inside here from this point on.
Shooting situation, Glenn Stewart at the line. Got to check out his haircut. Talking to Garth Cohn earlier in the week, he says he's our free spirit. Never know what to expect in terms of his hairdo.
Well, I'll tell you what, he has done a solid job here in the first half of play.
Like to get a hold of his barber.
Little fade.
Well, and the one thing Cohn likes about him, he has no fear of losing.
Well, that's the type of kid you want playing for you.
He will lead the game. Aaron Heathman will check in. And right now, Alexandria has built up its biggest lead at 7.
Now Alexandria in a full court pressure defense. Look at that nice look by Mickey Hosier. Excellent.
Now it's a 9-point lead, and Newcastle quickly into the front court, and we've got a foul coming up on Alexandria, but they did a nice job of putting that full court pressure on and caught Newcastle by surprise.
They really did. If anything, that was quite a surprise. Look, double team. They're in it first, in and by pass. There's Hosier. Nice little bounce pass. Great play.
Jeff Urban with that basket for Alexandria, and he's had a pretty solid game so far. He has 10. That one up to the third row of the bleachers.
I think Newcastle's really got to take their time now. Don't take the first opportunity, especially if it's from the perimeter, to really look to take good shots and mostly exploit inside.
And as we mentioned that, they shoot from the outside.
And he makes it.
Scott Miller, who's been here before. Miller, a 3-year starter as well, has 6. 27-21, Alexandria. And we had under 4 minutes to go in the first half. Hosier, nice little spin move. Got caught underneath. And on the hell ball, the possession arrow favoring Newcastle. You were telling me before the game, Garth Cohn gets pretty active during the offseason with his players.
Yeah, I heard he plays with them. He gets his shirt off out there, and he gets tough with them and plays. Cohn, quite an athlete himself, was a 13-letter man in high school, so he's done a terrific job at Alexandria.
Now Newcastle goes underneath, but missed the bank shot.
Well, they just got to take advantage of them opportunities while they have Hahn out of the ballgame.
It remains a 6-point lead in favor of the Tigers. Ben Davis and Shelbyville will play in game number 2, but that's a little ways off.
Boy, Alexandria is showing excellent patience. They're getting great movement underneath that time. Mickey Hosier threw it away, but excellent patience there by Alexandria.
That was intended for Chris Stewart, or rather Glenn Stewart, and I think Glenn...
He stopped. If he should have just continued on, he would have been wide open for a layup. There you go, Newcastle. That's what the Giants need to do more of.
Chad Tabor's done all the scoring. And now a steal. Trojans trying to work their way back in it. And off the loose ball, Mickey Hosier hustling out of bounds to Alexandria, and Hosier did a great job of keeping that one alive.
I just can't believe Mickey Hosier. He's like the bunny we see in that commercial. He just never stops.
No, he doesn't.
Keeps going and going and going.
That's a good analogy.
Yeah. I mean, this kid is everywhere.
Scores and highlights at halftime of game number 1 with George McGinnis, Jim Barber here at Hinkle Semi-State, where it's a 4-point Alexandria lead. A lot of good motion on the part of the Tigers. And we got a foul coming up in the backcourt on Kyle Huckabee.
Newcastle doing a much better job of picking it up on the defensive end. They've taken a step out. And that time, boy, it looks like that was a good call there.
Kyle Huckabee has yet to score, and we talked about Alexandria trying to contain him, and they've done that so far.
That was one of the keys, and boy, he really has not had a lot of looks. You know, they need to find a way to get him involved on the offensive end.
Tigers continue to work without Chris Hahn, who has 3 fouls and is on the bench.
Newcastle really getting up defensively, might be able to create some backdoor opportunities for Alexandria. They're very patient, and they look for that.
I don't think he moved his foot. Stewart down low, and Glenn Stewart very active on the inside, found a opening area, and now will shoot a couple.
Boy, you know, good teams, they get most of their points off the pass, not the dribble. That time again, Hosier finding Glenn Stewart inside off the little back pick. They have just done an excellent job of working their offense.
It's interesting you should mention that on a different level. Gene Cady says the movement without the ball, you can get a lot of easy layups.
Absolutely.
And good inside position if you can cut without the basketball.
Absolutely. When you see a team scoring with just passes, that is a very good sign that you're getting great activity from your players. People are doing a job of picking and moving, and as a result, you get good, open, easy shots.
Stewart was at the free throw line moments ago. And there's Hahn on the left of your screen, out with 3 fouls.
Well, Alexandria has done a good job of keeping this lead with their main score out. I think they've done it with excellent patience, defensive. Here they're throwing another little press at Newcastle.
Trojans with numbers and a basket, and finally Kyle Huckabee on the scoreboard.
That time Newcastle done an excellent job of attacking that press and ended up with an easy layup.
Huckabee, who averages 21 a game, his first 2 points with 1:25 left in the half.
Boy. Again, great passing by Alexandria.
This is a Tiger team that was able to get through the regional on a Stewart free throw with 4 seconds left.
Man, he's got to make that one. Hosier's not very happy. He's screaming, hollering, coming back down the court, but what a look.
Tigers finding a seam in that defense. Offensive rebound, back up and in. That's Chad Tabor again. Tabor now with the 11. And he's had to pick it up for Huckabee.
Yeah, he sure has.
Jump shot in the air, good. That's Aaron Hefner with a basket. Another 3 from the outside, and Newcastle not showing a whole lot of patience at times.
No, they really are. That wasn't a good shot there for Newcastle. They can get a better opportunity than that. That time, I think that was more of frustration in shooting that basketball than anything else.
Well, the other problem you have is you allow Alexandria the last shot at the basket.
You really do, and they have shown excellent patience. they're not going to take a whole lot of bad shots, especially with Mickey Hosier running his team. Boy, what an outstanding point guard he is. He's really does a good job. I mean, this is one of the best point guards I've seen all year long.
Alexandria can extend the lead to 8, maybe 9 at halftime. Chance for a rebound. Despite the fact Chris Hahn has 3 fouls, Alexandria has a 6-point halftime lead. Lord Hinkle for the Indianapolis semi-state at the break. It's the Tigers 33 and the Trojans 27.
More horsepower than Thunderbird. $1,000 less than Taurus, popularly equipped. Dual airbags and theft deterrent system, standard. Pontiac Grand Prix. It blows the doors off everything else in its class.
Get a Grand Prix for just $248 a month with $1,500 down. See your Central Indiana Pontiac Pack dealer today.
Driving's always changing. It's a challenge just to keep up. But your smart decisions keep you in the lead. And you face no-till. With no fear. Pursue herbicide. The highest degree of weed control.
Mommy, how do brakes work?
They'll explain everything, dear.
Brakes for shoes?
They'll tell us all about it.
How can you buy brakes if you don't know anything about them?
Because I always shop with people I trust.
When it comes to brakes, it's not what you know, it's where you go. You can always trust the folks at Meineke to give you quality, dependable brakes at a great price.
I trust the champ.
Take it from the champ. At Meineke, you're not going to pay a lot, but you'll get a lot.
I guarantee it.
Ford Ranger, GMC Sonoma, 2 nicely loaded pickup trucks. Let's look at the numbers. Standard horsepower, payload capacity, highway miles per gallon, standard fuel capacity. Add in available suspensions, standard AM/FM stereo with 4 speakers, and the total? Proof positive that GMC Sonoma offers you more value than Ford Ranger at a great price.
Learn all about it at your Central Indiana GMC truck dealer today.
We are halfway through game number 1 of the Boys Hinkle Semi-State here on the campus of Butler University, Alexandria, with the 6-point halftime lead. I'm Jim Barber, George McGinnis alongside. Nice of you to get up this morning and watch high school basketball here. And well, I'm really surprised. Alexandria without Chris Hahn on the bench, 3 fouls, still holding its own.
Well, it's all been Mickey Hosier. This guy has done a terrific job. He's the heart and soul of this ball club.
He is.
He's a great leader, great passer. They have just done an excellent job of showing great patience, getting good opportunities and easy opportunities. Newcastle's going to have to do a better job on the defensive end.
In fact, the Tigers might be up by 10, maybe a dozen if it weren't for a couple of missed layups. Hosier has been able to find that open man. Stewart's done a nice job cutting underneath, and Jeff Urban's picked up the slack.
He really has. He's done a nice job. They've had great contributions from a lot of different people. Newcastle, on the other hand, their main man, Cal Huckabee, he has been shut down, and he's going to have to get loose here in the second half.
In this game, Huckabee has but a single basket, and that was scored with 1:31 left in the first half. And that's why the Tigers have been able to maintain the lead. They've kept Newcastle away from the foul line. That's important, too, because the Trojans shoot so well from the line.
Well, a lot of that is because of the Newcastle's willingness to take the first open opportunity, and they have not done a good job of milking that offense, getting the ball inside and getting to the free throw line. They'll have to do a better job in that area also.
We are going to show you some first half highlights and also give you some first half numbers. It's been a pretty tightly contested game until about midway the second quarter, and that's when the Tigers opened up to a 9-point lead. Then Hahn had to hit the bench, and despite that fact, they're up by a half a dozen, and I think pretty good shape.
Yeah, they really are, and should be a interesting second half. I know that Sam Alford's an outstanding coach. He'll make some adjustments. Newcastle will get back into this ball game, and it should be a terrific finish.
Sam has to be pretty happy so far with the play to Chad Tabor. He has scored 11. He only averages 12. And number 20 has been able to pick it up for Newcastle when they've needed it the most.
He really has. He's done an outstanding job. Now, of all the guys on Newcastle's team, he's been a solid player, but you wouldn't expect him to be their leading scorer. But what a job he has done for Newcastle, and because of his efforts, Newcastle's still in this ballgame.
Tabor shooting very well from the floor. Jeff Urban for Alexandria, who led the team in rebounding in the sectional, has helped out offensively in scoring here in the semi-state. He is number 30.
Boy, nice looking stroke with the left hand. He hit a couple of threes, and he has made a major contribution for this Alexandria team.
I wonder what his fastball's like, Mac.
Oh, man, he's
got a pretty good pitcher, you know.
Well, if he's left-handed, you know, pitchers, when you're left-handed, you have a slight advantage. And, boy, if he can throw it like he strokes it from the three-point strike, he's awful tough.
And, again, he's headed to Ball State University to play baseball there. We are at halftime. Alexandria has the 6-point lead. When we come back, we'll give you the first half numbers here from the Hinkle semi-state. Jim Barber, George McGinnis. Happy to have you along.
Teamwork means working together toward one common goal.
At Marsh, we're working together every day to make sure you're completely satisfied.
It's all the little things, the extra effort that truly defines a winner.
We go the extra mile so many ways, and it doesn't cost you any extra.
And when you do it year after year, you've got what everyone wants.
A winning tradition.
Marsh, an Indiana tradition since 1931.
At Marsh, they're serious about making you smile.
And that's our guarantee.
Noble Romans introduces new 101 pepperoni pizza. A large hand-tossed pizza smothered with 101 real pepperoni.
Wow!
Ask for it by name, only at Noble Romans. Now, when you order Noble Romans delivery, within 25 minutes, we'll call you back and let you know your pizza's on the way, or it's free. Guaranteed.
Wow!
Only from Noble Romans. Noble Romans introduces new 101 pepperoni pizza. A large hand-tossed pizza smothered with 101 real pepperoni.
Wow!
Ask for it by name, only at Noble Romans.
There were a lot of tractors out there, but there's only one. White Outdoor. You see, White only builds quality tractors and mowers. Your White dealer will help you find the perfect one for your needs. Can somebody help me? White dealers even assemble Lender Weber. Other mowers come with these simple instructions. To find your White dealer, call 1-800-94-WHITE. White Outdoor. Incredible.
If someone asked me what I like best about my Ford F-150, I could tell them about the galvanized steel bed and how tough it is. Of course, I like the rugged suspension that can handle most any road and still deliver a smooth ride. I could go on and on about the safety of a driver's side airbag and security of rear anti-lock brakes. But what I really love about my F-150 is how much money I saved. No wonder the F-150 has been America's bestseller for 18 straight years.
Your Indiana Ford dealers are one.
In just a few minutes, we'll get the second half going here at Hinkle Semi-State. 33-27, Alexandria leading. And a look at the first half numbers favoring the Tigers in shooting. And look at the free throw attempts for Newcastle.
Unbelievable. If you told me that Newcastle would not have one free throw attempt here in the first half of play, I thought you'd be kidding. But, boy, they just have not done a good job of taking it inside.
And that is reflective of their three-point shooting, which is just a little bit over 20%. 3 of 14. The rebounding is even, so are the turnovers. Let's go back to some of the keys of the game that Mac and I talked about to begin with, and kind of get you up to speed as to who has done what so far, see which teams are coming through and which teams are not. Newcastle wanted to defend the inside and has been able to do a pretty good job on Hahn, but I don't think they've contained Hosier so far.
No, they really have not. He has really just about done what he wanted. He's always had the basketball, and he's done a good job of distributing it.
For Alexandria, able to avoid foul trouble except for Chris Hahn, who has 3, and that's a big situation, but they have neutralized Kyle Huckabee, who has scored just 2 points.
Wow, what a job they have done on Kyle, and they have got to find a way to get him involved back into the offensive end.
Here are your leading scorers in the game. As we mentioned, Chad Tabor having a very fine first half, up to 13th. Pretty hard worker, Sam Alford says, and he is showing it. Meanwhile, good balance for the Tigers. Jeff Urban has 12, and on the bench, Chris Hahn has 8. We'll see if he starts the second half. Glenn Stewart has his 4 points from the free throw line. There are 16 teams remaining in this year's state tournament. Here are 2 of them in the South Bend Semi-State. Kokomo and Elkhart Central. Basil Mawby's teams always play that low-scoring basketball, but very effective. And right now the Cats have a 4-point lead in the second quarter. In the Evansville semi-state, they do not get underway until about 15 minutes. We'll also have updates for you from Lafayette as well, and keep you abreast of what's happening across the state. But the two teams are headed back to their huddles, and we are ready to start the third quarter here from Butler. What a beautiful week we've had here on the campus of Butler University. The weather has just been gorgeous.
Well, I'll tell you, we can't ask for a better situation in terms of the weather. It's just been terrific. And, you know, we always think about a little snow on the ground when we think about the high school tournament. But this has been an unusually warm year.
Seems back when you played, we had a blizzard every other year.
Yeah.
Back in the late 60s, but the weather has taken a break this part of the year, and that's good. And people still have been able to file into this historic barn.
Well, it's been sizzling in here the last 2 weekends.
Yes.
I mean, we have seen terrific basketball, and of course the regional last week was the best I had ever seen, and this has turned out to be a heck of a ball game. And Newcastle, although didn't play very well in the first half, Jim, there's plenty of time to get back into it. So it's going to be interesting to see how this works out here in the second half of play.
Chris Hahn will start the second half. He has 3 fouls. He'll have to be careful. Although, again, the Tigers did a nice job of playing without him.
Well, they
Here's
really
a look
did.
at the renovation that we've seen over the last couple of years here. It used to be a stadium of 15,000, and now the field house down to about 10 plus.
Yeah, they really cut it down, but what a great job they did. I still think it's the best basketball floor I've ever played on. It was one of the first great arenas built, and a whole lot of history here.
We start the second half with the Tigers owning the basketball and a 6-point lead. Alexandria has never been in a semi-state so far, making good work of its first appearance. And inside, once again, Jeff Urban.
Well, Urban starting off the second half the way that he ended the first half, scoring on an easy opportunity.
Urban now up to 14 for the Tigers. That's a 2 from the outside. Kyle Huckabee, his second field goal. They've got to get Huckabee into things, Mac.
Well, he was able to get a nice, easy opportunity there, and when he got it, he knocked it down. Nice, clean shot. They're going to have to find more of them for him.
Trojans in a zone. A look underneath, and Hahn is fouled, and I think he'll shoot a couple. Chris Hahn, just a junior, 6'7", a steady influence on this Alexandria team.
Well, there's Kyle Huckabee showing some frustration. He has been kind of shut down defensively, but he's got to come in with a good positive attitude. He's able to knock down his first opportunity. Just keep it going.
That's his third personal foul, and now on the held ball. Back the other way we go. So Kyle Huckabee's got to be careful now. He has 3. There's the possession arrow. High school basketball, just like the college game, there are no jump balls, just alternating possessions. Good inside penetration, but the layup missed.
Oh, wow.
Boy, again, foul in the backcourt.
Again, Mickey Hosier, I wish we could get back and see the play that Cal Huckabee missed, and it was all because of the excellent defensive hustle there by Mickey Hosier, and again, that time called for the block, a good call by the official. Again, Hosier just all over the place.
And Hosier sets the offense for Alexandria. Into the big man. A garbage basket, who else? Jeff Urban. Urban now with 16. Miller running the offense. Beautiful penetration.
Nice look there by Miller.
And the steal. Problem is Newcastle can't put a couple of baskets in a row together. The held ball will keep it in favor of Alexandria. Arcone now setting the offense for the Tigers, who have a 6-point lead. Both cheering sections on the same side of the court. In order for us to have a situation in which the fan support will be on opposite sides for the championship
that time
game.
Scott Miller looked like he had a clean steal there that time, and the official called him for the foul. He needs to settle down. He don't want to pick up a technical in a situation like this, but he is extremely upset, and Sam gets him out of the ball game.
Josh Estelle wears number 10. He is now in the game for Newcastle. So it's Estelle and Miller. A couple of substitute guards that will run the offense for Newcastle. Hosier had 5 first-half assists. Stewart, a little fake.
Well, look at the patience Alexandria shows. Great hustle there by Newcastle. They're doing a good job here on the defensive end.
Miller knocked it away, and he controls. And an offensive foul coming up on Brandon Miller. That is Newcastle's 4th team foul here in this second half.
Boy. Oh, yeah, he clearly pushed off with the left hand. You really got to keep them arms in.
You don't see a hand check by the offensive player
No,
very often.
not too often. Well, Alexandria clearly looking to get Chris Hahn involved in the offense. They're really trying to keep the ball in Hosier's hand, and he, of course, is looking inside to the big fella.
This time Hosier took the shot and missed it.
Oh, nice look.
And a foul coming up. Huckabee will shoot a couple. Newcastle getting nice entries into the lane, but missing the short layups.
They really are getting some nice looks, nice passes. Watch this nice look inside there. Chad Tabor finding Huckleberry. He just can't get it down. He's got to knock them shots down. They're easy. Boy, nice little left-hand pass.
This is where Newcastle really excels at the free throw line. They've got as many as 5 players up in the 70th percentile from the line or better, but Huckabee misses the first. Alexandria 37, Newcastle 32. The number 1 team in the state, Ben Davis, to follow. Nice give and go out front from Hahn to Stewart. They work pretty well together, don't they?
They really do. They have just got a great understanding of each other. Now, a lot of these kids grew up together. Alexandria, of course, a small town. So one of the advantages of growing up in a smaller community is that these kids have been playing together for a long time. I know that Hosier and Hahn have been playing ever since they were in the 4th grade, I think.
Tigers reverse the ball, and here's Hosier. Trojans can get a little closer, trailing by 5. Newcastle doing a better job as halfback at going inside.
Yeah, they really are. And when they do that, they're going to get good opportunities just like that when they were able to get down.
Rodney Berry has 8. This game is tightened up. Stewart for 3.
Wow. Big time shot there.
I'm not sure that's his range, but he knocked it down.
He showed no fear, and that's a big 3 for Alexandria.
His coach says that's the way he plays. 7 for Stewart. Trojans have had some pretty good looks inside, but are not hitting them.
Boy, that's just too easy. Newcastle's going to have to come with weak side help. That time Hahn had his man pinned on the outside. Nice little over-the-top pass. Newcastle gave no weak side help. That's too easy.
Hahn with 10. He continues to play well despite those 3 fouls. Again inside, they'll work against Hahn, trying to draw the 4th. Instead, they get the inside basket by Huckabee. And now a steal by Newcastle. Miller out of control. Offensive foul, Newcastle. That is the 16th foul on Sam Alford's Trojans and the 3rd on Miller.
Well, this time Brandon looks like A good call there by the official. A lot of frustration there.
Well, Mac, you said earlier, Alexandria plays so smart with and without the ball that you just can't come charging into the front court like that.
Oh, look at that look. See, that's just excellent passing, putting the ball in the right position where all the big fellas got to do is grab it, catch it, turn, and lay it in.
Hahn is doing a great job of getting open here in the second half. And it's back to an 8-point Alexandria lead.
Really packing that zone in, this Alexandria team. Newcastle clearly has gotten good opportunities inside in the second half. That time they were able to knock down the perimeter shot.
That's Brady Armstrong, 44-38. Looking for Hahn underneath. This time he's in traffic, and they tie him up. And back the other way will go. They did a nice job of sagging in the inside. And this time Chris Hahn wasn't able to get loose. 2:24 left in the third quarter. Alexandria 44, Newcastle 38.
We got boats, we got boats at Ted's Aquamarine.
Ted's is your Mercury outboard dealer and complete boating center. Fishing and bass boats, runabouts, ski boats, cruisers, deck boats, pontoons, and more. Powered by Mercury Outboards. And boat show specials continued on selected models.
Get the boat you want when you see what you like at Ted's Aquamarine.
Buy now and save at Ted's Aquamarine, your authorized Mercury dealer.
Right now, Ray Skillman Ford is having a pre-spring luxury van sale. Shop from the state's largest selection of luxury vans during this sale. You and your family can own a loaded, full-size Ray Skillman luxury van with V8 engine, front and rear air, color TV, all in the most popular colors for only $19,995 plus freight. One price, no hassle. The van sale is on, so see us now. Ray Skillman Ford, 2 miles south of the Greenwood Park Mall on US 31.
44-38 Alexandria with 2:24 left in the third quarter. Jim Barber, George McGinnis. We are live at the Hinkle Semi-State at Butler University. This is the round of 16. Huckabee wide open. They didn't see him. He says, get me the ball. Both teams shooting very well in this quarter. Wow. That is one of the reasons why. Josh Estelle trying to open up that inside a little bit. And now Newcastle can get closer. They've got numbers.
Oh, yeah. Now Newcastle doing an excellent job of exploiting that inside. Tough on the defensive end, and they're back into this ballgame, Jim.
It was an 8-point lead in this quarter, Mac. It is down to 1. Here's Stewart down the lane. Offensive foul. Alexandria.
Well, Alexandria better get a timeout here. They really need to talk about this thing, and that's exactly what they're doing.
You said it. They'll do it. Minute 26 left in the third quarter. And Newcastle has tightened it up. It's a 1-point game, 44-43. Just seconds ago, Stewart had an idea to drive to the basket, but look who was waiting for him.
Well, Newcastle's done an excellent job on the defensive end, and that's what's triggered the offense, and they've gotten some easy opportunities because of their excellent defensive efforts, and they're right back into this ballgame, a chance, of course, to take the lead.
The Tigers are working very well in their inside game with Chris Hahn, but on a couple of possessions earlier, Hahn got tied up, which on the possession arrow gave it back to Newcastle. And this time around, Stewart took the charge going to the basket, or created a charge.
Well, it's all been about hustle. That time you see a little pass that gets away from the player there, and Huckabee is able to give it up and get it back. Nice little easy opportunity.
The volume has picked up in this field house as Alford's Trojans have closed to within 1.
Boy, Sam looks intense.
He He's been here before. In fact, he's been everywhere. Looking for his 88th career tournament win. For the lead. Chad Tabor has helped Newcastle go up by 1.
Oh, again, great look inside Brad Howell. We roll over the top pass to Chris Hahn. Newcastle has not done a good job of getting weak side help.
Beautiful follow-up right there as Josh Estelle able to follow the missed shot. And it's back to a 1-point Newcastle lead. Alexandria has controlled this game almost all the way, except down the stretch in this quarter.
Well, again, Newcastle's having to come and make tough shots, and they're giving up easy opportunities on the other end to Hahn.
Chris Hahn has 8 points in this quarter, 16 for the game, and I think all the points in this quarter on layups, man.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
48-47, Alexandria. Newcastle will play for the last shot. Now 10 seconds. Shot blocked underneath and followed up and in. Rodney Berry with a follow-up, and after 3, Newcastle has the 1-point lead. Should be an exciting fourth quarter. George and I will be back with it in a moment.
If you're going to be the best, you've got to be committed to excellence.
And at Marsh, we've been making that commitment for over 60 years.
You got to work hard on all the fundamentals because that's what's going to make you better.
And we're working to give you the highest quality and the best service at great values.
And when we've got the right players in the right positions, it means only one thing.
A winning tradition.
Marsh, an Indiana tradition.
Marsh will bring a smile to anyone's face, even mine.
There were a lot of tractors out there, but there's only one. White Outdoor. You see, White only builds quality tractors and mowers. Your wife, Diva, will help you find the perfect one for your needs. Can somebody help me? White Divas even assemble and deliver. Other mowers come with these simple instructions. To find your White Diva, call 1-800-94-WHITE. White Outdoor. Incredible.
Newcastle has 9 offensive rebounds in this game. Here's a big one to end the third quarter, George.
Boy, that was a nice look inside. Got the first one blocked, but was able to get it the second time and get it up and down.
Let's see how composed Alexandria is, having lost the lead. Hahn keeps it alive. And this time Newcastle controls. Huckabee.
Well, Alexandria's kind of had things their own way here for most of this ball game. Be interesting to see how they respond now that they're not the team in lead.
And Newcastle loses it out of bounds back to the Tigers, who trail by a point as we start this fourth quarter. Kind of a contrast in coaches.
Yeah. Is Indiana high school basketball great or what?
It is terrific.
I mean, this is about as good as it gets.
We had no idea what we'd follow up with after the 2 thrillers last week, and this one measuring up to be pretty strong. Wow. Hosier gave it up, and Brad Howell knocked it down.
Excellent movement there. Brad Howell ended up with a clean three-pointer. Nice look.
Newcastle, another offensive rebound. This time Hahn controls for Alexandria, and here's Hosier. Stewart, open left corner, back to Hosier. Tipped in by Hahn.
Hahn pounding the offensive glass. There, I think it gets him 18 points. Excellent positioning.
Hahn with 18, Jeff Urban with 16. Timeout, Newcastle. 6:28 left in the game, and now the advantage to the Tigers, who have gone up by 4 at 53-49.
More horsepower than Thunderbird. $1,000 less than Taurus, popularly equipped. Dual airbags and theft deterrent system, standard. Pontiac Grand Prix. It blows the doors off everything else in its class.
Get a Grand Prix for just $248 a month with $1,500 down. See your Central Indiana Pontiac Pack dealer today.
A new discovery, a new technology, a new one-pass corn herbicide. Guardsman eliminates grasses. Guardsman eliminates broadleaf weeds. Guardsman, more accurate, more effective, more consistent than Bullet or Bicep or Extrazine. See the difference a whole new molecule can make. Try Guardsman, the leader in premix performance.
Chris Hahn with 18 points and Jeff Urban with 16. Good inside work and tip by Hahn. If this lead holds up, that bakery will be doing some business on Monday in Alexandria.
Oh, boy, Huckabee just couldn't get it down. Good play, though, by Newcastle. Look at that. Boy.
Hahn did a great job getting down toward it. Now it's a 6-point Tiger lead.
A great look.
Chris Hahn having a terrific second half. 12 of his 20 in this half. Nice little set shot from the outside by Brady Armstrong. 55-51 Alexandria. Hahn has been able to play this whole half, George, on 3 fouls.
Yeah, he's done a good job. He's not really an intelligent player, and they've done a good job also getting him the ball inside, and he's done a good job of getting busy and scoring.
He's not missing. The go-to guy for Alexandria is getting it done. That one kicked out of bounds with 5:15 left. Alexandria leading in this game 57-51. Again, the first time ever that the Tigers have made it to the round of 16.
Well, Alexandria now really packing it in. Looks like they're going to make Newcastle beat them from the outside. Now in the second half, the Giants have done a good job of getting everything inside like at that time. But the zone of Alexandria really starting to pack it in.
Chad Tabor with 19. The big story for Newcastle, Kyle Huckabee has not hit double figures yet. And Huckabee came into this game averaging 21 points.
There again, they are doing a good job of milking this Hahn situation. I don't know if you double team him. They trot to front him. They throw it over the top. When they play behind him, he gets it inside with slick little moves, and he's able to shoot over the top. You know, I just don't know how you answer a player like Hahn. He has just been terrific here in the second half of play.
You know, George, it's probably not the first time Chris Hahn has played with 3 fouls early in the game. But the thing I think has been very impressive is the fact he's been so aggressive with those fouls.
He certainly has, but he's played with a lot of intelligence. That's really good to see. He's only a junior. He's got another year left, and so does Hosier. So not only is this team good this year, but we look for big things from them again next year.
I don't know if they're the equivalent of Hoosiers and the small team that won it back in the 50s, but student body of only 626 students. They are a small school, and they are making a statement for the little guys in this state.
They certainly are.
5 minutes left in the game, and the rest of the way, Alexandria is in the bonus. Hahn has 16 of his 23 in the second half. And I think the faces tell you there is some sense of urgency right now for Newcastle. In this game, pretty well played game turnover-wise so far. Alexandria in great shape in the bonus the rest of the way and with a 6-point lead.
Well, there's 4.5 minutes left. There's plenty of time for Newcastle to get back in it. But again, Alexandria's going to show a lot of patience on the offensive end. They got the clock working for them now. They're not looking for quick opportunities. That time Newcastle come up with the foul.
In comparison to the two teams at the free throw line, Newcastle the much better of the foul shooters. Glenn Stewart really the only strong free throw shooter for the Tigers, but moments ago Hahn knocked down a couple, and now number 20 Brad Howell will have a chance.
Certainly it's going to be important that Alexandria makes their free throws because Newcastle's going to have to be aggressive on the defensive end.
60 to 53 Alexandria. Ben Davis and Shelbyville coming up after this one. A little activity off the ball.
That was clearly a foul there by Josh Estelle. Again, they only got 1 point out of that, so it's a good opportunity for Newcastle. Now they need to come down and score.
And they don't need to jack up a three at this point. They're going to look for the good inside shot.
There's plenty of time left in this ball game. 4 minutes, 22 seconds is an eternity. I think they still should try and exploit inside. That's where they've gotten big-time dividends here in the second half.
The three-point field goal really neutralizes a lead. That's a three, and that's good. Scott Miller knocked it down, 60 to 56, Alexandria. But back to Hahn.
Oh, man, what a big-time play that was, Jim. You know, Alexandria has done a great job. After Newcastle scores, they really look to get it out quick, and I think this is a set play where Hahn just streaks down the court. This is the second time that has happened. He was missed the first opportunity, had the presence to regather and get it back up and in, +1 here. Big-time play.
Chris Hahn has 25 points in this game, and another look how he sneaks down the floor.
Boy, nice look by Hosier, and he misses that easy opportunity there. Newcastle had a chance to get that, but instead he regathers, grabs it, and makes a three-point play. Big play.
Been a tough afternoon for Kyle Huckabee. Not only has been limited scoring-wise, he now has 4 fouls. He'll continue to play because this is the stretch run of this game with 3:58 left, and Alexandria up by 7. At the quarter, Alexandria led 17-14. At the break, 33-27. After 3, Newcastle had one of its rare leads in the game, 49-48. But this fourth quarter has belonged to the Tigers. And the Trojans know there isn't much time left to make things happen. Boy, this guy has made things happen. He has 19.
Yeah, he has been the prime-time player this afternoon for Newcastle. Again, he's making up this difference without any time running off the clock, so that's a good idea when Newcastle takes it inside. They're going to either get easy opportunities or might be able to get themselves to the foul line.
We highlighted that as one of our keys. If Alexandria could keep Newcastle off the line, it would have a chance to win, and that's held true so far. Tigers can use some clock right here. Again, no shot clock on high school basketball. So if you spent a dozen hours yesterday watching the college game.
Oh, he traveled, it looks like.
Sure did.
And what a look by Hosier, man. This guy is unbelievable. He's got a little Pete Maravich in him, Jim.
If you spent 12 hours yesterday watching the college game and are wondering where's the shot clock in this particular brand of ball, there isn't one. So that's an advantage for Alexandria to use as much clock as it wants.
Whoa!
And yeah, a huge three by Scott Miller. Now it's a 2-point game. And Newcastle will have it out of bounds. Boy, how quickly things can change.
Boy, you know, coach over here at Alexandria really complaining about Newcastle tipping that ball. Maybe if we come back, or maybe we could take a look at that play and see if any of the Newcastle kids get their hand on that ball to deflect it out of bounds.
Yeah, we'll see if Garth Cohn has an argument here or not. It is 63-61 in favor of Alexandria. 3:18 left in the game.
And Newcastle able to get themselves back in the game. And here's the play that we just was talking about. And we see Hosier has it, and it looks like clearly that the Newcastle player touched that ball. Maybe we can take one more look at that.
Maybe freeze it at the point that the ball's being thrown.
And Cohn awful upset with that call. But Newcastle able to get themselves back into this game with outstanding three-point shooting. It's been able to knock down 2 consecutive trays, and as a result, a 2-point ball game.
All right, let's see it right here. Boy, it looks like he did get his hand on the ball.
He clearly touches that ball, but
Arcone, I think, has an argument, but right now he has to set his defense. Trojans down by 8 moments ago can tie or take the lead. And a foul, and this is where Newcastle wants to be, on the line with Chad Tabor, who's an 80% free throw shooter, stepping to the line. Credit Scott Miller with a couple of huge three-point baskets.
Yeah, Scott Miller has done an outstanding job, and that time Newcastle milking the inside. Tabor going back to the free throw line, where he's an excellent free throw shooter individually, and Newcastle outstanding shooting team.
He went to summer camp all right during the past year. Fellowship of Christian Athletes camp in Beijing, China.
Wow. I went to the Fellowship of Christian Athletes camp, and it was in Green Lakes, Wisconsin.
It's a little further.
Yeah.
For Mr. Tabor, who hits both, and we have a tie game with 3:10 left. 23 points for Chad Tabor. Looks like we borrowed a script from last week, Mac.
Yeah. We're going to have another one of them fantastic finishes.
And a holding foul outside on Newcastle. That's a break for Alexandria because they are shooting the rest of the way.
Now free throws become awful critical. Of course, Newcastle has been able to knock down all their opportunities. Now it's going to be important that Alexandria do the same.
And Kyle Huckabee has left the game.
Boy.
He scored but 9 points in this game, 12 under his average, and he is fouled out.
Big foul there of Newcastle's leading scorer out of the ball game.
He is hoping that this is not his last time in a Newcastle uniform.
Well, they've had some other kids really step up for this Newcastle team, and I don't think you'll see him quit here with 2 minutes, 58 seconds to go.
Glenn Stewart misses the 1-and-1. He is an excellent free throw shooter, but he missed that one. And now Newcastle can take the lead. Miller off balance. Not a good shot there.
Tough shot.
Back comes Hosier, fouled. Oh. And I hope he's okay.
Man. He got hit 2 or 3 different ways there. I know that he's a tough kid, but boy. And we can look and see that we've got
looks like a running back
Miller there. And Chad Tabor, and I watch he initially goes down, and Miller comes over top with the knee. Ooh, boy. But again, he's up. This guy is tough.
Well, if we had a tough guy awarded, for this one.
Look, he takes a big time shot there. And we only said this kid's only 140 pounds, but he's up. He's gonna be at the free throw line, but it's going to be important that he makes his 1-and-1 opportunity.
It's almost like he's saying, if that's the best you can do, I'm still okay. This time, the shooters roll in Alexandria with everybody in town here today at the Hinkle Semi-State, rooting on to now what is a 1-point lead. Mickey gets them both. Ben Davis and Shelbyville standing by, but they may have to wait a while. The Trojans led back in this game by Scott Miller, must play without Kyle Huckabee. Oh! It's Miller again, and now Newcastle has a 1-point lead.
The 3-point shot has really hurt Alexandria here in the second half.
We'll see how patient the Tigers are. They were last time when they lost an 8-point lead. Now they're down by 1. Got to try to free up Hahn if they can. And a holding foul. Once again, free throws for the Tigers. This one on Scott Miller. his second.
Boy, has he played tough down the stretch here. I mean, this kid has been able to knock down a couple three-point opportunities. As a matter of fact, I think he's hit 3 in the last 2 or 3 minutes here. Just outstanding courage to be able to knock down them big-time shots in this kind of situation.
Good opportunity for Scott Starr, who is a good free throw shooter. His coach says he has a wonderful personality, doesn't pout. Had a broken collarbone, just missed 1 game. Nobody can question the courage of these Alexandria players. But the free throw is missed, and we remain tied.
All right, now, Alexandria's going to have to do a good job. Now, you don't want to get Scott Miller open for that 3. He's really got a hot hand.
If you are just joining us, your timing is impeccable.
And Alexandria has went back to the man-to-man, which is, I think, a really good coaching move.
Open jump shot in the corner is good. They gave Rodney Berry the shot. He drained it. Haven't talked much about him, but he's got a dozen.
Alexandria has not been able to find Chris Hahn here in the last 3 or 4 minutes. They really need to try and get him inside. That time they got him, and he was fouled.
They went away from him on a few possessions earlier, and as a result, Newcastle able to get back.
When you get a horse like him, you got to ride him, and they did a good job, but they've kind of forgotten about him here. That time they got back to it, and he's going to get a 2-shot opportunity. He's so good inside. He can put it on the floor, and nice player. Alexandria needs to make their free throws.
Hahn has made his 3 so far. He has 27. Well above his average. Oh, he looks so cool out there, doesn't he?
He really does. He just
look at that hairdo.
Yeah.
Glenn Stewart would be proud of that. Maybe he's related. This one to tie the game. And we are even up again with 1:16 left. The winner gets to the Elite 8. Stolen away. Now Hosier to set the offense with 1 minute left in regulation.
Oh.
Loose ball picked up by Newcastle.
Don't know if Alexandria needed that 3 that time.
And Sam saying, let's be patient here.
Stewart was able to knock down 1 earlier, but boy, that was awful quick with 1 minute to go. Now Newcastle with the ball. And a tied score.
And a timeout. 41 and 3/10 of a second left in the game. We are tied at 68, and Newcastle will use the timeout to set the play. I'm guessing that they will hold for the final shot.
Oh, I think so. I think that you got to, unless they just get a really good, easy opportunity underneath, but I think you're going to see Newcastle really milk this situation, try and take advantage of running that clock down to around 7 or 8 seconds to go, unless they get an easy opportunity. Really, Alexandria had the ball with 1 minute left, and boy, took a quick opportunity.
Those of you looking forward to Ben Davis and Shelbyville will have this one about 25 minutes after game 1 ends, but right now we are dead even at 68 in the first game with 41 and 3/10 of a second left. The foul situation, Alexandria has been long in the bonus in this game. The Tigers can give up a couple of fouls, and that could be part of the strategy as well here.
Well, you know, if they want to give up some fouls, one of the big problems with that is Newcastle is just such an excellent free throw shooting team. So,
except they're not shooting yet.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. Good point. But one of the things that I think Alexandria's got to do is just play good individual defense.
We'll see if the Trojans attack earlier or hold for the last shot, and we have a foul. That is team foul number 5 on Alexandria. It is a non-shooting foul. So the Tigers can give up 1 more. Then they've got no room to breathe. Chris Hahn with 13 fourth-quarter points has helped Alexandria to a comfortable lead, and then Newcastle came back on the shooting of Scott Miller and the scoring of Rodney Berry, as well as Chad Tabor. That's the time remaining in the game, and we are tied. Looked as if the Tigers were looking to get that foul.
Yeah, they really are.
And they're not getting it called. 15 seconds left.
Boy, what a great job by Newcastle. Now, here we go.
10 seconds left. And a foul out front. Again,
that's okay.
Alexandria can give it up.
Yeah.
7.9 seconds left. 16 foul on Alexandria. Pretty good strategy. That's what they
really
did.
Was.
They came out with the intention of fouling a couple times to eat up some clock.
7.9 seconds to go in this ballgame. Sam choosing not to call a timeout for Newcastle.
A basket could win it here for Newcastle. Everybody stacked up just to the right of the lane. And everybody in this place standing. A basket here could win it. Newcastle to follow at the goal.
Oh!
And we have overtime.
Woo! I'll tell you, we had a great regional. And how about this semi-state? What a great matchup this has been. Both teams have done a great job of going at each other.
We're picking up where we left off last week with a couple of overtimes.
You bet. Well, that was, I thought Newcastle really could have got a better opportunity. That at times looks like he stepped right on the out-of-bounds line. So that shot did not count. But here's the last few seconds. As you see Miller, but he's way out of the range of scoring there. Newcastle could do a better job of getting a better look than that, Jim.
Basket would not have counted. Again, he was on the line.
That's
inside the huddle of Alexandria as we will play a 4-minute overtime. Well, Ben Davis and Shelbyville will have to wait.
Man.
68-68 as we begin the overtime. Both teams now are in the bonus. Tigers had a pretty good strategy there. They gave up a couple of fouls, and took away some clock, and were able to withstand a last-second shot. You don't mind being in that position when the game is on the line, being able to give up a couple of personals. Newcastle coming from behind without Kyle Huckabee, who left the game on fouls. He is fouled out with 9 points. Newcastle with a chance to draw first blood in the overtime. Alexandria setting up in a zone. Hahn tries to swipe it away, and a chance for an offensive rebound and a foul on Alexandria. So we will be shooting now as the Tigers are over the limit.
That time Hahn looked for that block shot, which opened up the middle somewhat there for Newcastle. They were able to get that offensive rebound. And Chad Tabor, again, excellent job of hustling. You see the big fella going after that shot that leaves Tabor open underneath. Good job of getting it up, and he's going to get a two-shot opportunity.
Tabor has been perfect from the free throw line, and the fans can appreciate how good Sam Alford's team is from the line, well above 70%. That is a Newcastle tradition. Back to the days of young Steve Alford, who could knock down a couple of hundred in a row.
That's for sure. Now Alexandria needs to get Chris Hahn involved here on the offensive end. They really need to take advantage of that situation. There's a mismatch there.
We'll watch him move it out the basketball. He wears number 50, and he is inside. Stewart. Glenn Stewart, who has no fear, puts Alexandria back on top. Boy, I like the way Stewart plays. You watch Sam Alford on the sidelines, and it's almost like attending church for him.
Yeah, he's really calm. He's just kind of, but I know there's a lot of things going on inside.
Chad Tabor has scored 26 for the Trojans. What a terrific game he has had. in the wake of the loss of Huckabee. Stewart. Stewart again. And now Newcastle with a ball and a 1-point lead. And a bump outside by Hosier. And that means that Brandon Miller will shoot free throws. Boy. Well, now you can't give up a foul. You're going to put Newcastle on the line. And again, the Trojans, a very strong free throw shooting team.
Well, at that time, Stewart got himself in a little trouble. It would have been better served of giving that ball up. He got into the bucket a little bit too far underneath. Newcastle doing a good job defensively. Now, Miller with a chance to extend this lead to 3.
Missed it. And so the Trojans, ordinarily very effective at the line, just hit 1 of 3 in the overtime. Alexandria's chance to go back in front, and they're looking for their go-to guy.
That time, Newcastle, good job defensively. They forced Hahn a step further from the bucket, which in turn caused him to miss that shot.
Penetration and a basket scored by Chad Tabor. He's got 28.
Oh, Tabor has been magnificent.
Tabor only averages 12. And now Hahn, with that big body, all 220 pounds, muscles his way back in. Newcastle by 1. Hahn has scored 31.
Oh, nice look. Great look inside there.
Ryan Latham puts Newcastle back up by 3, and we're trading baskets right now, which is a pretty good position for the Trojans. They can afford it. Let's see if they look for Hahn again.
Well, it looks like Hahn might be getting a little tired. He used to do a better job of working to get open inside.
They double team him on the blocks, and before that can happen, Newcastle will be called for a holding foul with 1:05 left in overtime. Newcastle up by 3. Jim Barber, George McGinnis, we are happy to have you along, and this is just the appetizer, folks. We got more of the meal coming up.
Yeah. Tell you, I just can't believe the games that we've had the opportunity to work with, Jim. It's just been outstanding. The region on this matchup.
Look at Garth right there with a towel. He feels like he is playing out there.
I bet.
Hahn hasn't missed from the line yet.
Boy, he's got a great stroke, and he just goes up there and knocks it straight down. Don't touch any rim. Nice player, is Chris Hahn.
Hahn has yet to miss, and this is a guy shooting just 54% from the line. A minute left in overtime and a foul in the backcourt, so the Tigers are not going to allow Newcastle to hold the ball.
No, they really are not. But by the same token, you just don't want to continually put this Newcastle team on the line. They've missed a couple of back ends of their 1-and-1 here the last couple of times at the free throw line, but boy, overall they're a very good shooting free throw team, and that can end up hurting you more than helping you in fouling this Newcastle ball club.
Brandon Miller stepping to the line. Missed a 1-and-1 earlier. But he knocks that one down and celebrates it around the lane. Newcastle 76, Alexandria 74. The tense faces give you an idea what type of game this is. Sudden death basketball, lose one and you go home.
Alexandria still needs to look inside. Plenty of time.
They add Hahn for a moment. For the tie. And out of bounds to Newcastle. And now the Tigers have got to get a quick steal or foul. The Trojans 8 back in this game. Have the commanding lead here in overtime with 43 seconds left. And they will foul Scott Miller. Miller, an 83% shooter. Here's the problem. Whoever you foul on this Newcastle team, they're all pretty good free throw
that's
shooters.
exactly right. Chris Hahn there picks up his fourth. And what a terrific job Sam has did to making the adjustments at halftime. I think we talked a little bit about that at the break. And really attack the inside. Now his team has got the lead back. And, boy, you put him on the free throw line, they're going to make you pay.
That free throw now makes it a two-possession game.
Absolutely.
Alexandria led for most of regulation, but Newcastle got back even. It remains 78-74. Still time for the Tigers, but not a lot of it. Try to set a pick out high. Hahn tries to keep it alive and does. He'll go to the basket. And a rebound to Newcastle with 22 seconds left.
Couple good opportunities there that time. Alexandria just couldn't get it to happen. Boy, unbelievable turn of events in this ballgame.
And right now the Tigers are on the ropes. Chris Hahn has had a terrific game, being able to hang in there despite the fouls. But Brian Latham has a chance to help Newcastle nail this one down with 22 seconds left. And the Trojans up by 4.
So good at the free throw line. Once this team gets ahead of you, this Newcastle team that is, in a clock situation like we have here, it makes it awful tough because they're just so good from the line.
One more for the junior. Tigers have got to hurry and maybe use a timeout after a made basket. Hosier forcing, missing. And out of bounds with 13 seconds left in the overtime. Alexandria down by 5. Need a quick basket. Rebound to Newcastle, and the Trojans are going to move on to the championship game.
Wow. What a great job by Newcastle. Of course, Alexandria, last couple of minutes, just could not get the shots to go. But I think a lot of credit in this ball game will have to go to the outstanding job that Sam Alford did at halftime with this Newcastle team.
And number 20 for Newcastle, Chad Tabor, who really picked up the scoring slack for Kyle Huckabee, who fouled out in regulation. 80-74 Newcastle. The Trojans have made it to the Final Four under Alford before, but not with Steve Alford, Sean Alford. Final seconds. And a huge overtime victory, number 300 for Sam Alford at Newcastle. Just the same, all the Alexandria fans are standing and applauding their team. And you have to appreciate that. Because the Tigers have come in and given it a great go.
They really have. They got a lot to be proud of. I mean, just getting to that Anderson sectional, it's got to be awful tough, but what a great job by the Newcastle Giants.
Coming from behind, the Trojans win it in overtime, 81-74. So Sam Alford has made it to the Final 8 again. And the Tigers and their big star, Chris Hahn, will have to wait another year to get to the RCA Dome. But Chris Hahn, what an outstanding game for him. He still has another season left, and so do a number of the Alexandria Tigers. So they could be back here again next year.
Oh, I tell you, you got to like the heart of this Newcastle team, though. Looks like everything going Alexandria's way. They had the momentum. They controlled the tempo throughout the most part of the ball game. But Newcastle really done a good job in the second half of battling, staying in there, got themselves back into this ball game, got it into an overtime situation, really had an opportunity to win it in regular time, but boy, they just hung tough and was able to pull it out.
When we come back, George McGinnis will talk to Sam Alford of Newcastle. The Trojans win this one in overtime. Final score 81-74. We'll return to Butler in a moment.